Hey, how's it going? Ron from Widetrack here. Just wanted to catch up with you a little bit and kind of talk a little bit about the new music that my son Zach and I are writing. We're really excited about this stuff, and as you may or may not know, we've decided that to kind of get with the times and such, we're going to be releasing one song per month in 2019, and we're just going to kind of see how that goes. We suspect that this is going to be a pretty good way to be releasing music, and then at the end of the year we can kind of put all the songs together in an album format. But anyway, as of now, the band kind of exists in two versions, one being the studio, which allows us to kind of spread ourselves around a little bit more. So Zach is playing guitar and bass on the recordings, and I'm singing and playing drums. So all the new recordings that we're doing will primarily be that. We're bringing in an occasional guest musician here and there. So, but for the most part, that's kind of what Widetrack is these days. But live, we have a couple other guys that we kind of bring in to play drums and play lead guitar, and hopefully you'll get to see that on March 9th. We will be broadcasting live from White Lake, Michigan when we play a show. More on that to come. But anyway, I wanted to get into a little bit about these songs that we're working on. We've already released two songs in January and February. January song was called Martyr, and February song was called Unveiled. And we've got one coming out in March, and these songs have kind of I don't know, if you're familiar with the last couple, with any of our albums actually, there tends to be a kind of a underlying theme with things. I don't know, just the way that we write. But this time around, there's just a lot of external influence coming into the music in terms of where the world is these days. And not to be over dramatic about it. In fact, for me as a songwriter, as a lyricist, what I like to kind of filter things down to is communication between people, and kind of keep in an area of writing what I know about rather than trying to write above my head and all that. So I've been really concerned about relationships with people in this day and age, and how people are choosing to take sides in tribes, I guess, against one another, and how people get sucked into that, how people get lured into that mentality, and the impact that it has on close relationships, or relationships that could be close. So that's kind of what we're writing about with this new stuff, and we're just trying to be a mirror, and reflect what is happening in the world, rather than, here, go do this, and here's I don't claim to have the answers. I do have a lot of questions, and I love to talk with people about these things and try to have conversations that maybe sometimes they're not easy to have. You're trying to, the idea is that in my mind, I think there's more similarities between us than the differences, but sometimes there are deal breaker differences with people, and it's really difficult. Yeah, I'm just, especially being a parent and watching my son kind of grow up, and he's developing his own opinions about things, and we have these conversations, and I'm not sure what to tell him. I don't know where things are leading. there's a lot of cause for being optimistic. When I look at kids his age, there are a lot of things I'm very optimistic about. I'm not one of these people that looks at the younger generation and scorns them or whatever. I actually think that there's a lot of great kids out there, and being a music instructor, I work with a lot of them, and time again, I'm very pleased to see where their heads and goals are at. So that's one cause for optimism. But I also, in the social media age, I watch people just get vicious with each other, and it's very concerning to me that the gap is widening in some respects. So I'm just exploring these things with the new songs, and trying not to ever be political about things. I'm just not a political person in the regards of choosing a team or a tribe. Obviously, we all have our own belief systems and our preferences and stuff like that, but I really do think that a balanced perspective in the world is very much needed. You can't just be of the heart and ignore the mind, for instance. There needs to be a balance of those things, and that goes for pretty much across the board. I'm just asking a lot of questions about these things lately, and I would welcome a lot of your thoughts on what we do to kind of try to widen the area where people are having a little bit more reasonable discussion and a good faith search for understanding between people. And again, it doesn't have to be about a political point of view or a tribal point of view. I really think we're all in this together. And the reality seems to me anyway that there are good and bad people. There are people who want others to suffer, but I think lumping in good people with that small segment of the world is not a good thing, and I'm seeing it happen a lot more and more. So I don't know, I'm just asking questions. So anyhow, that's kind of the theme that's running through this album of songs, and this is the first collection of songs that I've been working on with Zach, and up to this point, the first 3 Widetrack albums, I have not had a co-writer. So immediately upon working on the latest stuff where Zach and I are writing together, I see very clearly that, wow, this is awesome. This is what the band has been missing, is a real, kind of the collaborative effort. It's always, well, for this situation, it's better, it's than just having me do it. I can only do so much. I realize my limitations, and I know that this is helping the music immensely. So we're very excited about it, and I want to thank everybody for the awesome feedback with these first 2 songs. If you haven't heard them, I'm going to put the links below. But anyhow, so we're playing, we're writing, we're recording, and we're going to be gigging starting in March, so there'll be a lot more of that. So stay tuned, and thank you for all your support. Stop in and say hi, send me a message, Ron at Widetrack Music, or Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever. And hope you're doing great. Hope everything's going wonderfully with you and yours. And by all means, let's talk a bit. Let's see what we can do for, at least in our own immediate circles, about making positive changes in the world. So thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.